So I said I'd go ahead and talk about all the new features we got from the brand new IGN first gameplay demo of Assassin's Creed Origins. So that's pretty much what we're doing. I'm going to break down various new pieces of information that we got. Again, I can't show the demo because copyright reasons, but I'll pop up a few screenshots, and of course the information is coming from the demo. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's talk about these new features. I'm running out of interesting intros to do. So the first point that we got from this brand new demo stated that the Giza Area will actually become available about halfway through the game, meaning that apparently it's not available from the very beginning. So when you start the game, when you're unleashed out into the open world, there may actually be a few restrictions there, and it's not going to be a completely open world from the very beginning. But apparently, at about the halfway point, the Giza Area becomes available, so that's very interesting. Whether he meant that at this point it's available, meaning, you know, it's available very early on, but at this point we're at, it's also available. Yeah, the wording's a little bit complicated, but I would assume it means around halfway through the game, you're then able to travel to Giza, which I'm kind of mad about, that it forces you to play through the main story in order to access these areas, but I feel like maybe that's not the case, and maybe we've just read into it wrong, but that is what he says, so that is up for interpretation at the minute. The next thing is that most side quests are about 15 to 30 minutes long, which is awesome, gives a lot of time for character building, world building, and stories, and that's super awesome. The next thing is investigation zones will be back from previous games, and they work similarly to things like when you're using your Witcher sense in The Witcher, when you're using your focus in Horizon Zero Dawn. It's kind of just looking for clues so you can progress the quest, investigating an area. That might be a campsite, that might be, you know, a tomb. You're looking for clues to progress your quest, maybe to find a person, maybe to discover what happened there, something like that, but think Witcher 3, think Horizon Zero Dawn, that kind of thing. That is what the investigation zones will entail. Because of the new quest structure, players will not receive messages stating that they've left a specific zone or that they've been detected, causing a fail for the mission they're playing. And that works very, very similarly to any RPG game. If you've played RPG games before, you will understand that you can activate quests, you can play a bit of it, and then if you don't feel like finishing it, you can just fuck off and do another quest, and you can come back to it at any point, and it will be at the same point that you left it, because the world is always active. Every quest that you have in your quest log is always active, and it's always there in the world, the same as everything. Like, there's no specific set missions or set environments for quests. That's not how it works in RPG games. And so, it's awesome that Assassin's Creed is adopting that mechanic, because that's so fun when, you know, you can just leave quests at certain times, you don't fail them for fucking up, you know, so this means, essentially, we're gonna have no tail this guy. If you get detected, you're fucked. If you get detected for, you know, you're meant to be in stealth mode, that won't happen. You won't fail missions for that anymore. It will just adapt, and this is a true RPG game, and it's adopting all of the mechanics from other RPG games, and it's fucking amazing. The next thing is torches will not be unique to pyramids or tombs. They can be used whenever the player wants. They can even be pulled out, dropped on the ground to light a specific area. You can use it to light your arrows. They can be used as weapons and also be thrown to create a distraction for guards. So torches are like fully utilized tools in this game, and you can use them for whatever the fuck you want. Even fighting, that's fucking awesome. So I imagine you'd be able to ward off if you're like out at night in the Nile area and you get attacked by some form of animal. I'd assume you're able to use a torch in order to, you know, ward off the animal if you want to do that, rather than possibly using a weapon to kill it. So, I mean, that'll be interesting to see how fire is used as a gameplay element other than to light your arrows or other than to, you know, set fire to things. That'll be interesting, so I can't wait to see how that's used. And obviously, torches are just cool to have in a tomb because, I don't know, it's fucking cool, isn't it? Another thing is, outside of quests, there will be objectives to complete. For example, each area of interest will have its own objectives. I imagine this is somewhat like the system in Black Flag, where you would have, say, an uncharted island. When you go to it, you have a certain amount of secrets to find, a certain amount of animals you can hunt, a certain amount of chests to collect, shanties, you know, you've got viewpoints, things like that. And I would assume it's that sort of thing. I could be wrong, but at this point, I would assume that's the kind of thing they're going for when they talk about objectives that can be completed outside of quests. Sandstorms will actually have an effect on Bayek's chance of detection, so like you see in the demo, if there is a sandstorm approaching and you go into an area, so they're not going to be able to detect you as easily as if there was sort of clear weather in the environment you're in, so that's interesting. Also, It's not possible to use Senu within the caves, and also Senu's vision is going to be very restricted when there's sandstorms, so you're kind of going to have to rely on your own vision. So as much as the enemies are also impaired, so are you, so it's not incredibly overpowered. And Senu not being able to be used in caves, of course that makes sense. I mean, I wonder if there's like a game barrier, like a cave door, so like when you summon Senu and you go to fly in a cave, like it won't let you go in, or like it does like a little, desync, just go back to Bayek, or whether you can actually just kind of fly Senu in there. I would assume that Senu can't be activated from in a cave, but I feel like you could fly her in a cave. I feel like that could be possible. I don't know, we'll have to try it when the game comes out. There is a skill which allows for you to chain arrow kills by using a slow motion move. So if you get a headshot on one guy, this is a skill, obviously it's not unlocked from the beginning, but when you get a headshot on one guy, you can then use slow motion to take out the second guy. It's not clear yet whether slow motion can be used just in general, kind of like a Horizon Zero Dawn, Tomb Raider sort of thing, where you can just unlock a skill that allows you to slow down time for a short period of time so you can get a better aim on an enemy, or whether you can only use slow motion when you get a headshot. I feel like this could be better, just simply because it's not too overpowered then, so you're not just, constantly using slow motion, arrowing people, that sort of thing. But this is a skill that allows you to chain arrow kills, which sounds pretty cool. Moving your reticule onto any enemy will project how much damage you're going to do. So if you aim at their body, it'll say you're doing this amount of damage. You can see their health bar, how much damage you're going to take away, like how much health you're going to take away. And if you aim at their head, you'll do like full damage, and you'll see that their entire health bar goes. So you can use this to plan where you want to attack enemies, if you should use your bow, that sort of thing. So that's really interesting, and it means that, you're not just blindly firing enemies. You can actually see how much damage your arrows are going to do. I assume you'll be able to turn this off to make it a little bit more difficult, but I don't actually know. Or whether this could possibly be a skill you can unlock, I don't know either. It's kind of unclear with things like this, whether it's something you unlock from the beginning of the game, or whether you unlock it during the skill tree progression. So, I mean, we'll have to figure that out when the game is, out. Another thing is it's possible now to shoot arrows from haystacks, which sounds freaking awesome. So you see in the demo, he pops out of the haystack and just takes out a guy with his bow and arrow, which is really, really cool. So adding, it's kind of like that whole, in Assassin's Creed 2, it was freaking awesome when you could finally assassinate from haystacks. Now you can do that, but you can also use your bow and arrow from haystacks. So that's really cool. The next thing is enemies will have different sized shields that have different properties, so the player will have to get to know them in order to deal with them. So there's going to be different things these shields are going to be able to do. I'd assume they have different deflect values, different, bash values, things like that, which means the enemies are going to be more powerful depending on various shields that they have, which again, interesting, allows you to change up your playstyle depending on enemies, making things more challenging, so that's something I'm definitely up for. Tombs can contain various other challenges such as puzzles. They seem very Tomb Raider style. I mean, like the new Tomb Raider games. You see in the demo, Bayek's lifting up, a little wheel thing off of this weighted platform. So it seems they're very Tomb Raider style, and that's very different pacing to what we've seen in other Assassin's Creed games, and it's really cool to see that this game has different pacing. You see him fighting these enemies, but then you also see him doing a little bit of free running and parkour through these tombs, and that's very different pacing to the combat. And then you see there's a puzzle section, and that's very different pacing to the other two sections. So, as you progress through this game, there's going to be different quests that are going to cause you to go at a different pace, and these puzzles are just one of those things, which is going to be interesting, and I can't wait to be doing some of them because it's just a different take on what we know from Assassin's Creed. The next thing is in some locations hidden around the world, players will find old stellas that have ancient knowledge on them, and interacting with them will actually give Bayek an ability point. So you can gain ability points outside of leveling up. Ashraf said that even if you've got to the top level, you can still collect more ability points. And the thing with this is, most RPG games allow you to collect, a lot of ability points past leveling up, and those ability points can never really be put into anything because you've already fully unlocked the skill tree, whereas in Assassin's Creed Origins, you actually have these various master skills. So once you've unlocked everything from one, kind of skill tree, so say you're doing stealth, you then have the master stealth skill, and you can keep pumping points into that if you want to. So you can get this up, and it will increase your stealth percentage by 1 every time you put a point into it. So this really allows for you to collect a lot of skill points past leveling up, but also it gives you something to do with the skill points as well, and doesn't just mean they're completely wasted. So I really like this because a lot of RPG games suffer from having more skill points than the skill tree has. So this is definitely a good thing. And the last thing is another pointer towards NPCs having their own lives and routines. It's shown after the cutscene with the kids that are actively actually traveling to Memphis once you finish the quest. So you see these kids, they're going to go to Memphis, and when the quest ends, you'd expect that you know, they're just gone now and that's the quest done. But no, you actually see the kids walk off, and it's very like Skyrim in that way. And I'm not entirely certain now. I don't want to, you know, because I'm not sure, but I'm not certain as to whether The Witcher 3 had this. I feel like it did, and I feel like Horizon did, but it's very clear to see in something like Skyrim, where when you finish a quest, someone will be like, oh yeah, I'll meet you there. And if you follow them, they'll actually go there, and you can actually follow them to the location, and then you're there with them as well. Or you can just fast travel there and wait for them, and then they'll show up. And that's what it's like in Assassin's Creed Origins. All of these NPCs have their own lives, their own routines. So these kids that are walking off after the quest heading for Memphis, if you follow them, you'll be able to reach Memphis with them, because they're going to Memphis. They could end up getting in, you know, a lion attack, or they could get attacked by a crocodile. Who knows what will happen to them on their journey? But it's super, super interesting, and all these NPCs having their own life is just absolutely just an awesome feature that adds to the world. And this is something that I've wanted for a while, is having a world that's living and breathing, that you can interact with as the player, and you feel like you're actively doing things within, like The Witcher 3, like Horizon Zero Dawn, like Skyrim. You know, RPGs to me are the future of open world games, and you can just see from what they're doing with Assassin's Creed Origins, all these features are fantastically immersive to the game. It adds so much to the open world, so much to the quest system, so much to characters, NPCs, combat, everything. It's just going to be super immersive, and I can't wait to see more, because it just seems every time they show new gameplay, we're learning more about this amazing world, more about this amazing systems that they're implementing into the game, and so I just can't wait to find out more. So thanks for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, because that'd be super, super cool. Subscribe to stay up to date on all things Assassin's Creed Origins and other stuff as well, not just Origins, but there is Origins, so do subscribe. Comment down, let me know your favorite new feature and something you possibly might be hoping for when we get future information. What other immersive things do you want that are, you know, cherry-picked from other really good RPG games, whether that be Skyrim, The Witcher, or Horizon Zero Dawn. Thank you guys for joining, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.